in a large pan on high heat, I've added a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. To this, I'm adding a pinch of asafoetida powder or hing. To this, I'm adding 1 1/4 cup of chopped celery, followed by a 1.5 cups of chopped carrots. I'm also adding a 1.5 cups of chopped bell peppers. I'm using a mixture of red and orange bell peppers. And I'm adding 1 1/2 cups of riced cauliflower. I'm using frozen cauliflower, but if you're using fresh, you can just finely chop it and use that. Let's give all of this a good mix. We're doing this on high heat, so we don't want to really make this vegetables very mushy. We just want to get rid of some of the moisture. Next, I'm adding 2 cups of chopped pineapples. I'm using frozen pineapples, but you can use fresh. Now, pineapples is one of those things that some people like and some people don't in their pizzas and burgers. If you're one of those people that doesn't like pineapples in burgers and pizzas, skip the pineapples altogether. But I personally find that it gives a very mild taste and a little bit of tanginess, just a hint of it. So I like it and I use it. Next time we're going to season this with salt, and I'm putting salt for all of the burger mixture, but you can put a little bit for this and then add salt later as per your liking. To this I'm adding a tablespoon of cumin powder, 1 1/2 teaspoon of ground thyme. Let's give this a mix again. And I'm adding a teaspoon of ground black pepper. You can use other spices if you prefer, chili, add jalapeno or red chili flakes or stuff like that, and make it your own entirely. So once the moisture is kind of gone, this is really done. We don't want to mush this further, so it's done. We'll set this aside. So in a large bowl, I have 2 cups of cooked chickpeas. You can use canned if you like, and 1 1/2 cups of black beans. To this, I'm adding 2 medium-sized cooked beets. And we're just gonna mash everything together. And we don't want to make this a fine paste or anything. I like to have a little bit of beans and chickpeas and everything sticking out a little bit, but make this your own again. And add the rest of the vegetables that we just cooked. As you can see, there's not a lot of moisture here, but I like to mix all of this at this point to see, how much moisture there is, so we can adjust accordingly the rest of the ingredients. So to this, I'm adding about 4 tablespoons of flaxseed powder. I'm adding the flaxseed because this is an eggless recipe, so I just want to make sure that everything kind of sticks together. And I'm adding here about a cup of old-fashioned rolled oats. But if you feel that your mixture is a little bit mushy, then feel free to add more. To this, I'm adding 1/2 cup of nutritional yeast. And let's give everything a mix. So once you give this a mix and find that your mixture is maybe a little bit mushy, then you can feel free to add a little bit of oats here. Maybe starting with 1/4 cup first and see how it goes. And the last ingredient, which I should have added earlier, but I forgot, is fresh coriander leaves. I'm adding about maybe 1/4 cup here, chopped coriander. So let's give everything a mix, and these are ready to be made into burgers. Once everything is mixed together well, just spray a little bit of oil in your hands and shape the burgers. Take a little bit in your hand and try to shape it into a burger shape. You could also add a little bit of oil to the mixture before you begin, but I didn't do that. I didn't bother because we're going to spray on it as well. Once the burger kind of comes together, I like to put it on a flat surface, floured surface, and just kind of roll the burgers and try to shape it. I feel like this gets rid of some of the moisture on the top and also helps to shape the burger a little bit. I find that if you make the burger too thick, then the insides get a little bit more mushier. So try to shape the burger well. It really does pay off. I also like to flour the sides a little bit, and so this is what our burgers will look like. They're pretty soft at this stage, so handle carefully. Since I'm air frying this, I like to spray the air fryer with a little bit of oil and then start putting my burgers in. Once we have all the burgers lined up, we're going to put this in the air fryer preheated at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to air fry this on the top side for about 10 minutes. And once that's done, take it out and flip it over and air fry it again for another 5 to 10 minutes. Before you put it into the air fryer though, make sure that you spray it lightly on the top. So after 10 minutes, this is what the burgers look like. They're still kind of soft to the touch. So you want to be careful handling them because they can break very easily. I'm using a flat spatula to kind of carefully turn it around. And once all the burgers are flipped over, I'm going to put this back in the air fryer at 375 degrees, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. You want to check on this. This came out around 7 minutes because it was starting to turn a little bit brownish on the edges. So this was pretty much done. It's nice and firm on the outside, and inside when you chew on it, it's soft still. So these are done. This recipe made about 13 or 14 burgers for me, but depending on your size, it could make more or less. And alternatively, instead of air frying, you could also pan fry this. Just put a little bit of oil and shallow fry the burgers. But I find that the burgers are still kind of soft this way. You can also alternatively bake these burgers, but again, the best result I find, the air fryer really, really works great. The outside is kind of crunchy and the inside is kind of soft still. Hope you enjoy this recipe. Say a little prayer and share the love.